Ancient underground network of countless of miles of tunnels under Europe. Now, I remember at a book fair, I had bought a book of maps of underground tunnel systems, ancient tunnel systems under Attica, the greater Athens area of Athens, Greece. Now, we know that, for example, during the the Battle of Marathon, about 500 BC, the Athenians against the Persians, the Athenians won, of course. Uh, they had sent their women and children through the tunnels to the port of Piraeus to guide them to safety while the Athenian warriors were fighting the Persians. Of course, they had to send their women and children away because you know how the system was at that time. Whoever conquered the land would use the people as slaves. Okay, so that's why they had to save their women and children. They used these underground tunnels. Who knows how long they were there? I mean, who built them? And thousands of years ago. Now, a countless network of countless underground tunnels hides beneath the cities and forests of Europe. These are artificially made, tunnels are not natural. The time and construction of which is estimated around 10 to 13 centuries, even up to 50,000 years ago. Of these, only a small percentage has been explored, about 2%, which are of newer construction. The remaining 98% archaeologists have no idea who built them and with what means. Now, the book that I bought at that fair, I moved houses 2 times. I have no idea for the life of me where I put that book because it was very useful. I wanted to read it because it was full of underground tunnels. Actually, one of the married woman saints, Saint Philothea of Athens, Greece, used to shelter the Christians in the underground tunnels to save them from the Ottomans, okay, from the Saracens. So she knew these tunnel systems underneath Athens, and she would use them, knowing the openings and the exits, in order, of course, the foreigners didn't know of them, but she knew them, and she would save the people by hiding them there. Now, going back to this, the German and in Germany and Austria, more than 1,000 such tunnels have been explored, a number that constitutes only 10% of the existing ones in these countries. As archaeologists estimate, and their size varies, some tunnels are 25 meters long, while others are 100 meters, and others are reaching countless kilometers. In some tunnels, doors with latches have been found, doors which were not used anywhere. The German archaeologist friend and researcher Dr. Henrik Kusch, in his book Secrets of the Underground Door to an Ancient World, claims that since so many parts of the underground tunnels have been saved after 12,000 years, that reminds us of the Younger Dryas period, doesn't it? Of 13,000 years ago. The original network of tunnels must have been vast and majestic, he says. He also expresses his concern about the ancient tunnels that connect all over Europe, about when they were made and in what way. In any interview he had said, in an interview he said that although we have not explored all of them, because it is a topic that we would like many years to do, we have huge questions about how they were constructed and by whom. Whoever they were had tools which do not justify their existence before 50,000 to 25,000 BC, unless there was some modern culture back then. These underground spaces may have been refuges from wars and raids by robbers, or escape corridors from castles and even places of worship for the then pagans when Christianity took hold in Europe. The moment this is done, the huge question marks begin, not for the simple castle tunnels, but for the very ancient ones. Questions that trouble archaeologists, making them start with theories that are very foreign to them, such as the Middle Earth theory. What else can they think of a tunnel that starts in Italy, goes through Austria, Germany, through Russia, and is said to come out somewhere in the Gobi Desert of Mongolia, where the first meters below the ground are 40 meters and their maximum depth exceeds 450 meters, but also the walls of the tunnels where they're glazed as if someone had used a fusion weapon to melt the walls. And what else can one think when they see the granite walls of the tunnels and they are not carved with tools and are smooth as glass? But there are testimonies where I have testified from ancient stories, people in ancient tablets, folklores, poems, short stories, legends, and much more. Why don't archaeologists make use of these testimonies? What are they waiting for? How many clues lead to the Middle Earth theory? But their hands are tied because, for me and for many other researchers of Middle Earth, this is the biggest and global conspiracy that has ever been done. A strange writer, for me, presented the theory of Middle Earth about the opening at the poles. It was an American philosopher, William Reed, author of the book titled Phantom of the Poles. It was published in 1906. The book provides an early compilation of scientific evidence based on reports of the Arctic by explorers in support of the theory that the Earth is hollow with opening at the poles. Reed estimates that the Earth's crust is 800 miles thick, while its hollow interior is 6,400 miles in diameter. Reed summarizes his revolutionary theories as follows. The Earth is hollow. Poles, if requested, are ghosts. There are openings at the north and south ends. Inside, there are huge continents, oceans, mountains, and rivers. Incredible flora and animal life is evidenced in the New World inside, and is likely to be inhabited by tribes unknown to the inhabitants of Earth's surface. Reed pointed out that the Earth is not a true sphere, but flattened at the poles, or rather begins to flatten out as an approximation, the hypothetical north and south poles, which really do not exist, because the openings in its hollow interior are there. Therefore, the poles are really in the air. The center of the polar openings is not on its surface, as they discovered. Reed argues that the poles cannot be discovered because the Earth is hollow at the poles points, which exists in the air, he says, due to the existence there of polar openings leading to its interior. When the explorers thought that they had reached the pole, they were misled by the eccentric behavior of the compass at high latitudes, north and south. Reed argues that this was the case with Pierce and Cook. Neither of them actually reached the North Pole, as we shall see later. Starting at 70 to 75 degrees north and south latitudes to Earth, the Earth begins to curve forward. The pole is simply the outer rim of the magnetic circle around the polar opening, he says. The pole is simply the outer rim of the magnetic circle. The North Magnetic Pole, once thought to be the point in the Arctic archipelago, has been shown in recent years by Soviet Arctic explorers to be a line some 1,000 miles away. However, as mentioned above, instead of being a straight line, it's really a circular line that forms the lip of a polar opening. When an explorer reaches the rim, he has reached the North Magnetic Pole, and if the compass will always be the point where the other passes, it's not really the North Pole, even if it is delusional or thinks it's so. When one reaches this magnetic circle, the rim of the polar opening, the magnetic needle of the compass points down. This has been observed by many Arctic explorers who, after reaching the high latitudes near 90 degrees, were puzzled by the inexplicable energy of the compass and its tendency to point vertically upward. It was then, within the polar opening, that the compass pointed to the Earth's North Magnetic Pole, which was together on the rim in this opening. As the Earth spins on its axis, the motion is gyroscopic, like the weaving of a top. The outside of the gyropole is the magnetic circle of the rim of the polar opening. Beyond the Earth's rim, it flattens out, and the slope gradually slopes towards its hollow interior. Truly, the pole is the exact center of the opening of the poles, which therefore do not really exist, and those who claim to have discovered them are not telling the truth. Even if they thought they have been misled by the irregular action of the compass at high latitudes. For this reason, neither Cook nor Pierce nor any other explorer has ever reached the North or South Pole, and never will. Hollow earthers have the ability to split the ocean floor, create an eddy, as evidenced by the Bermuda Triangle. There are 7 different levels in these vortices, and equipment and beings come and are placed respectively in these different levels. Vortices act as doorways to enter or exit the Earth's hollow interior, he says. There are more than one triangle area outside of Florida. One area is in Lake Erie, in the Great Lakes, another off the coast of Mexico, one is in Japan, as well as another geographical area of the Earth. These are called quiet areas. These gates allow creatures from within to come out, as well as such as Bigfoot, Yetis, and many other creatures that have appeared from time to time and disappeared again, etc. All the planets are hollow, as is the sun, which is really a planet. There are civilizations on the sun that have colonies in underground regions of Earth, he says. The atmosphere in Middle Earth is crystal clear as a rule. There are clouds from time to time, but not like rain clouds. The temperature is constantly 23 degrees Celsius. The people inside talk directly to the animals, and the animals talk directly to the people inside the Earth. There's no need to save because everything is free. You don't need to create. Abundance is something above. A process of counter-pragmatism is more common than trading in money. This is basically a utopian culture without depression leading to violence. There are no parties that seek to make war and domination profit above all else. There are airships, the term that on the surface explained as flying saucers, which is part of themselves. A part of their personality goes into creating the aircraft through thought process because of their very powerful minds. This makes aircraft perfect to design and execute in motion. Only a small group of surface individuals have these similar abilities to create them. Due to the suppression of these abilities in childhood by religion, education, fears, and family, the inner earth people are allowed to enter their imagination space, if you will, and that is where they create. As humanity enters the surface with the next phase of the fourth dimension, the people of inner earth will come forward and work with us on the surface. People on the surface are cynics today, dealing with a sense of I, that they cannot live together harmoniously. Surface people who seek to reach the interior of earthlings through meditation will succeed. One of the first things we were shown inside was their ability for interplanetary and time travel. The basis of time travel is likened to space bending, which comes through the power of meditation and the acceptance of existence as a limitless being. If you train your mind on a subconscious level and you are all things are possible. On the surface, these possibilities to deal with them in that of infinite power will more easily awaken such portals, which serve as time-space portal directly into the interior of the Earth. And once in the environment of Mount Shasta, that is drawn up in the harmonious state. In my experience, the writer says, Mount Shasta, or the Telosians culture, underground, in this area is to protect an aura great with harmony in the beautiful atmosphere. Now, the evidence is too much, and I keep putting it in my, it may take us a long time to put in, but when I do, we'll have a complete knowledge of things so that you too will wonder that there really is a huge conspiracy in the matter, which is real, but also a big secret. So the writer says, until next time, we be well and remember, and if you don't believe in something, doesn't mean that something doesn't exist. This is from Invisible Lichens team. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.